Morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching me from. I'm so excited to welcome you to your favorite sport podcast where it comes over mid global sport intelligence. I am your host, Kyle Ojo, and I'll be bringing you the latest football updates, particularly in the Uefa Champions League, where we had the first leg of the round of matches for the quarterfinal stage. And it was all exciting. I tell you, it was all exciting, and I will just want to give you a quick review and my opinion about those matches as we begin in the show, in today's episode of the show. And we'll start with the match between Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, it actually ended in favor of Bayern. Bayern actually got that win 2-1 at the Bernabeu Stadium. And that was something that comes not surprising to me, because of course the form of Real Madrid compared with the form of Bayern Munich is not something that you can actually compare at all. But of course, Champions League has always been it for Real Madrid, that once they are in Champions League, the mood changes, the hype is different. And in addition to the fact that they are playing in their home ground in front of their fans, it's something that many expected that they could have done better. Of course, they should have done better, if not for the fantastic performance and heroic saves from the 40-year-old Bayern Munich goalkeeper Manuel Neuer, who actually did so well against the likes of Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius Juniors, who actually got some chances, and Vinicius Junior couldn't convert those chances. At least one clear-cut chance that he had, he couldn't convert it against Manuel Neuer, and that was brilliant. And look at the goals. Luis Diaz getting the first goal in the 41st minute. Fantastic through ball there from Serge Gnabry, who actually made up for his clear-cut chance that he actually missed as a result of lack of composure after he was gifted that ball, and it was just Serge Gnabry one-on-one with goalkeeper. But of course, Nunin actually came in fantastic to actually block that shot on goal, and it was parried out for a corner. But of course, Serge Gnabry actually make up for that very important miss and actually gave a fantastic assist to Luis Diaz. And resuming second half, Bayern Munich actually took control of the match. They still continue from the tempo that they actually finished the first half, and they took the lead again in the 46th minute. Harry Kane from outside of the box did a calling and placed the ball right at the bottom left of Nunin, who was at goal for Real Madrid. And for me, I felt Nunin should have done better for that ball. He could have been better with his save, but of course he couldn't actually get a clear view of Harry Kane's shot from that far. But of course, whether or not you get a good view, you should be able to make that kind of save. And that's why the Real Madrid team actually will be missing Thibaut Courtois, the Belgian who has been injured and will not be featured even in the second leg of this encounter. Will be a big miss, because I think if Courtois was to be at the goal, probably he would have actually made a save, and that Harry Kane goal wouldn't have been what would have actually give them a 2-goal lead. But of course, a lot has to be said of Vincent Kompany and the composure of his team, and the inclusion of Harry Kane, who was just coming from an injury that he sustained at the international scene with England, and the fact that he was able to actually utilize him. Of course, is the highest scorer in that team. So when you have that kind of players, probably not too fit to actually start the match, but of course you could take the risk of actually making his physical presence felt. And of course, Harry Kane actually repaid the faith of his coach Vincent Kompany by scoring that second goal. And then we have a lot of back and forth in the match, where Serge Gnabry means in the 27th minute, after Thiago Pina actually presented him an opportunity one-on-one with Nunin. But of course, Nunin did a very fantastic save with that ball. And not forgetting that of Upamecano, who actually, from a close range, he was just to tap in the ball, but he didn't actually have a good contact with the ball to actually push the ball through the goal line. Of course, it was Carreras who actually came for the rescue, who actually came to rescue Real Madrid and kick the ball away from and not allowing the ball to actually cross the line, with Nunin already beaten totally. And of course, Manuel Neuer actually had fantastic save, doubles. He had a save of Vinicius Junior, and has a save from Vinicius Junior to his left hand side. He made that save, a save against, of course, against Kylian Mbappe as well. 2 saves, and then the one-on-one he had with Vinicius Junior, he was able to make himself too big enough that Vinicius Junior couldn't get the ball on target, and before Kylian Mbappe actually made the scoreline to be more respected going into the second leg of the encounter, where he actually lashed to a fantastic trend like kind of square play, where Alexander Arnold actually made that square play, fantastic square play, beat the Bayern Munich defense and found Kylian Mbappe right at the edge of the post for him to just do a fantastic tap-in, which actually brought the game to a 2-1 final score, which is what we are going to go on to the second leg. I tell you, a lot of things is being said about how the Real Madrid, the giant, the fearful team in the Champions League, has all it takes to go to Allianz Arena and get the win against this informed Bayern Munich. Of course, Arbeloa, the current head coach of Real Madrid, actually made that statement as well. Some of the players in Real Madrid have made such a statement, but I tell you, it's going to be a different ball game right there at Allianz Arena. I know Real Madrid has the experience, has the grit of the UEFA Champions League, but I tell you, the Bayern Munich of this season has everything it takes to actually get the better of Real Madrid yet again at the Allianz Arena. But of course, what do they usually say in football? That anything can actually happen in football. Now let's go straight to the second match that we had in the UEFA Champions League quarterfinal first leg. Sporting Lisbon against the Gunners, the English Premier League league leaders, Arsenal, actually had a lock on their hands as they actually came out 1-0 win against Sporting Lisbon, who actually did 5 goals in their previous round to actually qualify for this round. But of course, they couldn't even get a goal in that match. Not that they didn't try, not that they didn't make an attempt, but of course, we have the fantastic presence of the Gunners goalkeeper, David Raya, who was just there for making great save, starting from the 6th minute of play after he denied with a fingertip save of the shot that was actually going on goal, and a fingertip save actually pushed the ball right to the and hit the crossbar. That was a fantastic save from David Raya, and it was something that Arsenal were able to savour and could able to take advantage of those means from the Sporting Lisbon side. And I tell you, despite the fact that Arsenal was not sharp enough in that encounter, but of course they were able to get the much needed win and the advantage they need for them to take back to Emirates Stadium for the second leg. And of course, they took the combination of the super substitution that Mikel Arteta made in person of Kai Havertz and Gabriel Martinelli. Those are the 2 pairs of players that came into play to make that combination. 90th minutes plus 1, did a looping pass to Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz collected it so calmly and then looked for a way to beat the goalkeeper, which was he does at his best. And he actually did that and gave Arsenal a 1-goal lead. Like I said over and over again, Arsenal has the squad in depth in them for them to actually achieve the quadruple they initially targeted. But unfortunately, they couldn't defeat Manchester City in the final, and unfortunately as well, Southampton get the better of them in the FA Cup, which of course was surprising, which people has actually been putting at the door of the goalkeeper that actually came in to deputize for David Raya, which is Kepa Arrizabalaga. But of course, Arsenal need to actually continue in the form that they have been before those 2 setbacks, so that they can actually do well right there in the Champions League and even in the English Premier League. I like to tell you that it was the win of Arsenal that actually cemented. That win was not just for Arsenal alone, was for English Premier League as well, as it actually cemented the possibility of the English side having 5 teams in representing England in the next year, in the next season Champions League, and that, of course, is a good news for all English teams, particularly those who are still struggling to meet up with the top four, and the last spot, which is the top five, has been secured by that Arsenal win. But Arsenal has all it takes to actually get the win at right there in the Emirates Stadium. Don't forget, Arsenal still remain the only unbeaten team in this Champions League, in this season of the UEFA Champions League. Can they go all the way to the semi-finals, remaining unbeaten? That will actually be a repeat of what was achieved in the last time the Gunners actually make it to the UEFA Champions League final, where they lost out to FC Barcelona. 2-1 was the scoreline. Now let's take you through to the next match that we have. Atletico Madrid against Barcelona away at Camp Nou. Surprise result that it was there. Just one decision was what turned the game on its head, as the red card that Pau Kubasi actually got in that match in the 44th minute was what changed the entire trajectory of the match, as the likes of Lamine Yamal was still trying to look for a way to create something against the solid Atletico defensive side. But of course, that red card changed the course of the match. Of course, the first change that happens in that match as a result of that red card was a free kick that was fully converted, that was beautifully converted by Alvarez. Great free kick it was, fantastic finish it is, and what a way to actually get the 1-goal lead by the Argentine in away from home. And of course, the second goal actually came as well from Alexander Sørloth. The Norwegian actually came on and actually make his mark in the match and gave Atletico Madrid a comfortable lead into the second leg right there at the Metropolitano, where they were playing again in Spain in the two Spanish clash that it is. Now let's say, I like to tell you that the Atletico Madrid side has the advantage to actually get this, to actually get the win and in this encounter, in this style, and get to the semi-final spot. They did that in their Copa del Rey match, where they actually led 4-0 in the first leg of the match, and Barcelona came out smoking. But of course, the best they could get was a 3-0, and Atletico Madrid actually get the better of Barcelona in that cup tie. Can they do that again in this UEFA Champions League tie? Man, it remains to about 90 minutes plus possibly an extra time and a penalty that will determine if they can actually achieve that feat yet again. And not like Barcelona wasn't creating something, but of course they actually had seven shots on target, and the goalkeeper, the Atletico Madrid, Joan Musso, was the Argentine, actually did fantastically well at the goal and saved those 7 shots that was thrown at him. And it was a Barcelona error that they were not clinical enough. Of course, it's one of the things that Hansi Flick side has to work on as they actually go for the second leg encounter next week right there at the Metropolitano Stadium in Spain. Now let's go to their final fixtures of the UEFA Champions League quarterfinal first leg that happens right there in Paris, where Paris Saint-Germain, the defending champion, took on Liverpool, the lifeless Liverpool, and they actually remained lifeless in that match. They couldn't create anything. They have 0 shot on target. So disappointing performance it was for an Slot side, and it was a fully dominated match that happens with PSG against Liverpool. PSG dominated the entirety of the match with 74 possession against Liverpool's 26, and that is something that is worrisome for an Slot side, who actually had 4 saves by the goalkeeper, who Mamadashvili actually made fantastic 4 saves that could have made the scoreline to be much more unreasonable than it was for 2-0 as the final score in that encounter. And of course, I have everything to throw at PSG form. Actually, joking with a lot of chances they had. PSG could have made that match to be about 4-0 or 5-0. Great chance that Hakimi could have actually have a shot at goal and maybe score the goal. But of course, he was acting so unselfish, trying to pass the ball to Nuno Mendes, and Nuno Mendes actually overkicked the ball and lost out on that chance for PSG. And of course, many other openings. If it were the way PSG performed against Chelsea, that they actually did that against Liverpool, they would have finished Liverpool so much more than the way they did yesterday in that encounter. And of course, Liverpool are actually talking it up about the possibility of turning it around at Anfield. Yes, Anfield, that great stadium that footballers in the world have been saying is one of the fearful stadiums to play in. But I tell you, it's not against this PSG side. They've actually tested it all, particularly in the knockout phase. Since the last season, they have been fantastic for knockout phases. And this season against Liverpool at Anfield, I dare to say that it looks so impossible, because this is not a Victor Osimhen-less Galatasaray that Liverpool was able to decimate 4-0 in the last round before they made the qualification to the quarterfinal. But I tell you, nothing is impossible in football. But Liverpool can do it. PSG can actually, they have their destiny in their hands. It's left for them to actually protect that destiny and make it to the next round of the UEFA Champions League in the semi-final stage. Now let me quickly take you through the UEFA Europa League fixtures that are available today. Where yesterday we have a match between Braga and Real Betis. That match ended 1-1 at Portugal in Braga. While tonight we have fixtures that includes Bologna will be playing against Aston Villa. FC Porto will be playing against Nottingham Forest of England, while Freiburg will be playing against Celta Vigo. And also we have the UEFA Conference League quarterfinal fixtures, where Shakhtar Donetsk will be playing against AZ Alkmaar. Crystal Palace will be playing against Fiorentina. Rayo Vallecano will be playing against AEK Athens, while Mainz 05 will be playing against French side Strasbourg. And that will be the fixtures that we have for you in the UEFA Europa League and the UEFA Conference League matches quarterfinal stage that will be happening tonight. And finally, we have a news for you to let you know that the boxing match between Fury and Makhmudov will be happening this weekend right there at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And Alexander Usyk, who actually for the 5th time will be coming in his boxing career, will actually be coming out of retirement and will be doing that against Makhmudov this weekend. Fury, who is a former 2-time heavyweight champion, will actually do all it takes to actually come from defeat that he had against Alexander Usyk for the 2nd time after he was defeated twice by Alexander Usyk in 8 months. Now Fury, who is 37 years of age, is actually desperate for another fight with Usyk. But of course, before he can get the chance to fight Usyk, he needs to actually get through so well against Makhmudov this weekend at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Don't forget, Makhmudov has a record of 21-2 with 19 knockouts, while Tyson Fury has a record of 34-2 and 34-1, while he has 24 knockouts in his glittering and highly successful career. And that will be the end of the episode of our your favorite sport podcast this day. I like to thank you for actually staying tuned and watching this episode. Special thanks to Almighty God for the success of this episode. I want to give my profound gratitude to my headline sponsor, The Box Lagos, located at number 63 Adekunle Banjo Avenue, Magodo, Lagos, where you can get the best of fun, where you can get your car washed, with a lot of other activities that has actually been outlined for you, with their karaoke night, the salsa night, a lot of football watch parties, and a lot of celebrity hangouts that you usually have in store, even right here at the Box Lagos. Guys, I'd like you to find your way down to the Box Lagos, and I tell you, you will never regret it. This is your favorite sports show where football meets with intelligence. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.